What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another World of Warcraft video for the War Within, and today we're talking about the long-term success of gold making in the War Within and setting yourself up to make as much gold as possible throughout the entire expansion. This video right here will be primarily focusing on crafting, so the crafting aspect of professions in the War Within, and helping you guys out by telling you how to spend your knowledge points. And based on this, first of all, in patch 11.0.7 it looks like we're getting the ability to reset our knowledge points, which is going to be great if you feel like you made a mistake at some point. You have the chance to actually correct that mistake. But what I'm talking about today is setting yourself up for a successful run in gold making throughout the entire expansion. And what I'm going to be focusing on here is that I have primary builds when it comes to spending concentration, for example, or what crafts I'm focusing on. But at some point, you will reach the maximum cap of the knowledge points that will affect your build. Now, after you get to that cap, I would recommend keep doing your weeklies. Don't just put that character on the shelf or something like that. Just keep doing your weeklies. It's really fast anyway, and then spend your leftover points in a different build. Gold making is a very prices fluctuate and profits also fluctuate, and in Inscription, for example, I have set up some contract builds. So over here we have 30 points into archival editions, 30 points into runic research, and then we have 30 points into contracts. Now for me, I only use this character to make contract at the moment, but after finishing off contract I also went into missives, because I don't know what happens in patch 11.0.7 or even patch 11.1. What if they don't introduce a new faction until 11.2, and for the entirety of 11.1, the only contracts we have are the ones we currently have? Well, the demand for those contracts will go down drastically, and in that case, maybe missives ends up being more profitable in 11.1. In that case, I am now capable to make missives on this character, and after missives, I have now started putting points into Vantis runes, and I believe that if you are spec'd into either contracts or missives, by the way, setting yourself up to make Vantis runes will be a very good choice. In patch 11.1 and 11.2, we are getting a new raid, and with that new raid, we also get a new Vantis rune recipe. Now, we don't know how we will get the recipe, like will it be taught to us by the trainer, do you have to buy the recipe somewhere for acuity, or will it drop inside the raid? We simply don't know, but having another Vantis rune to make will make another avenue of profit, and when that raid comes out, the supply versus demand metrics on Vantis runes will be insane, and this will probably be the best way to spend your concentration to make a bunch of gold. So even though right now contracts are the best for me to make gold, in the future, that might change, and I want this character to be ready for that change. So the TLDR here is spend your knowledge points in different ways than just your main build. Once you have finished your main build, start going into a secondary build and then a tertiary build, and always just have backups, and try to think about what comes out in future content that your backups could be relevant for. In this case, missives could be important in a future patch for making certain gear, so you guarantee certain stats, so missives could be important again, and the Vantis runes are definitely going to be important again. And the same thing goes for Darkmoon sigils. Maybe at some point the Ascension one isn't the best one, maybe you want to start setting yourself up to make Vivacity, or even the next one, or just branching out in different ways. So for me, on this character, I am branching out to do both contracts, missives, and also Vantis runes, and I kind of want to give you guys more examples of how I'm branching out here, to give you some concrete examples that you can follow if you want to. Now another example of that from my point of view would be, for example, my blacksmith, where I'm currently making iron claw alloy and charged alloy, and at the moment that is the best ways for me to make profit by making those items, although in the future that might change. So for me, I have started setting myself up to make stones, and I'm going into stonework. In stonework you have the option to choose either tool enhancement to make tools for your profession tools, or stones for them to improve your stats, or you can make actual weapon stones, and then you can spend your concentration on making those stones. In this case, that would be the Iron Claw Whetstone, for example, and we also have 2 more stones that I can currently make, the Iron Claw Weight Stone, which is selling for 400 gold, or we have the Iron Claw Razor Stone, which is selling for 1.8. Now it's important to note that when you make the Razor Stone, you only get 1 back, meanwhile when we make the other ones you get 4 back. So technically you can take this one, and that would be about 1.6k gold value from one craft, meanwhile this one right here is 1.8k, and at the moment this is way less profit than, for example, doing Iron Claw ore or Iron Claw alloy crafting, so something like that. But once again, in the future that might change, and those stones might be more valuable once again when new content comes out. Same thing goes for the actual finesse ones as well. If there's a new herb introduced at some point, they can go up in price as well. So once again, it's all about branching out. You could also do frameworks, for example, that's a possibility, but I do think the stones are possibly the best backup to have here. Another example here is if you have a character or multiple characters like me that you are using to make professional equipment for yourself, at some point you will have made all the professional equipment that you can, and it's good to have a backup over there as well. And even though at the moment there might not be a big demand for crafted items, that will once again change at some point in the future. Think about patch 11.1 or even patch 11.2 when there's brand new crafted items introduced and people want to have new crafted items at the highest quality they can with embellishments on them. You can then sell your concentration to make those items for those people and make a bunch of gold. So for me, I have already maxed out my build for professional equipment, and there's no more things that I benefit from putting knowledge points into. At that point, my next backup on this character, even though I don't use this at all at the moment, but I will in the future, is making equipment for both myself and other people. Not professional equipment, but real equipment. So I'm speccing myself into being able to do that for patch 11.1, for example, and patch 11.2. So even though I don't benefit from luxurious leathers in professional equipment, I am doing this for the future once again, and we are 47 points deep. Now the same thing goes for blacksmithing. I am once again focusing on making professional equipment on this character. I even went into making some alloys as well as another backup, because I am almost done with all of my mining equipment making, so I could use my concentration here to make alloys, to make gold at the moment, and then in the future we can start doing weaponsmithing or even armor smithing. Now I have gone into weaponsmithing on this character, and the aim is to once again make weapons for myself or make weapons for other people and make more gold that way. Basically being as flexible as you can and thinking about gold making as a long-term game and not just a short-term game. Now, a lot of us are at the point right now where we have gotten the knowledge points we need, and you might even have stopped doing your weeklies, and I'm just here to tell you, don't do that. Keep doing your weeklies, get these knowledge points. You don't even have to spend them right now, but it's just good to have as a backup for the future. Now, the final advice / example that I have here is when it comes to enchanting. Spec yourself into as many different builds as possible, because you never know what the next cheapest material or the next cheapest one to make and the most profitable enchant will actually be. For example, last week, not just last week, like 2 weeks ago, I made more gold on Cursed Chance than anything else, and then suddenly the last 2 weeks I make way more gold on Tertiary Trivialities. So at some point this changed from, actually at the start we made more gold with Fortified Flames. That was the absolute best one to have, and then it went to Cursed Chance, and then it went to Tertiary Trivialities. Things are changing all the time, and the more options you have, the more flexible you are, the more gold you will make. And that's basically the video for today, kind of a different one, but it's something that I haven't talked about, and it's something that I think some people out there need to hear. Either way, that's the video, so let me know your thoughts on everything in the comments down below. If you want to have more help when it comes to gold making, like guides, early access to videos, even exclusive content, we currently have 3 videos in exclusive access, which means that's 3 videos I will never make public on YouTube that you have access to when you buy the guide. Then check out my guide for the War Within down below through the link in the pinned comments. First of all, you get a guide that is over 100 pages that covers pretty much every single aspect of goldmaking. You get early access to content, exclusive content, and access to a Discord community with a lot of other goldmakers, myself included, and that Discord server is also where you get early access to content, by the way, so join that server and make a bunch of gold. Either way, that's the video, so thank you once again, and I'll see you again in the next one very soon.